Hi listeners, Mr. Gruntle here. Welcome to the first episode of my podcast featuring EpicDan22, who is a live streamer on Twitch. I hope you enjoy. Testing. Okay, I think this should be working now. Okay. Well, hello anyone and everyone that's listening. I'm Mr. Gruntle, also known as Kai. That's my real name. And welcome to my first podcast. I'm here with a well-loved streamer in the Borderlands community on Twitch. He's amassed a large following over the past 4 months, I believe, that he's been streaming, if I have my information correct. And he's built up quite an epic community. It's EpicDan, or Dan the Man. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Happy to be here.
Oh, great. That's awesome. So just a disclaimer before I properly start this. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this. So it may go horribly, but hopefully it'll go well. We've got a great guest, and he seems to be ready to do a good podcast, so it should go pretty well.
All right, let's do this.
Yeah, so just before we get started, I'll let you guys know the format of this podcast. So basically, it's so that people can just learn about, today we'll be learning about Dan and who he is, the man behind the stream. I want to start off by talking about how you got into gaming, Dan, and then eventually how you get into streaming, and what you're currently doing on Twitch now, which is the hunt and Borderlands streaming and all that kind of thing. And then maybe have a bit of a talk about what you're looking forward to in the future in terms of both streaming and anything else in your life that might be interesting.
Yeah.
And end on a little bit of a Q&A. If anyone who's watching wants to ask any questions, might choose a few of those. But just hold those questions till the end, guys. So, yeah. So it sounds like you've got an audience with you, Dan.
Every once in a while he's here, Whenever I'm streaming, he's always here in the background, lurking.
So is that your...
Yeah, it's my nephew.
Your nephew. All right. That's cool.
He's the guy everybody, whenever I'm streaming, says, hey, there's somebody behind you.
All right.
Yeah.
I've honestly never seen him. I obviously don't watch you enough.
No, you're always streaming when I am, or, sleep when I'm awake, and vice versa. So.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so when did you first start gaming, Dan? What was your first gaming experience, I guess?
My first gaming experience that I can remember when I was about, I think, 4 or 5 years old. A lot of people probably say the same thing, but the first game I ever played that I can remember was Super Mario Brothers on NES. And I was just so, at a young age, was like, this is such an amazing thing to do all the time. I was like, why? What is this thing? That's video games, this world, Mario. So every day after school, I just played it, man. That's my first memory of video games at about 5.
So you were instantly hooked into video game worlds?
Sadly for my parents, I was instantly hooked. Came home after school, would always not do homework, and would play games instead.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think my first gaming experience was one of those little, like handheld, cheap, like $10 game things with one single game on it, and like a black and just a black, not even LCD screen, and just like I think it was some sort of like save people jumping out of this falling building by moving a guy back and forth on the bottom of the screen. It was such a basic game, but I would my mum didn't like me playing games, so I would grab it and run outside and like hide somewhere and just sit there for like an hour playing this stupid game trying to get a high score.
Yeah. The game sounds familiar, but I don't know. Like, I can't pinpoint the game that is. But I know what game you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know either. It was just like a little, definitely a kid's toy thing.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
So did your parents like approve of you playing video games all the time, or were they a bit kind of, this is gonna waste your life, blah 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 blah, like a lot of parents are?
They were never against it. They were like, well, he's playing games all the time. It's better than him doing a lot of other stuff out in the world, you know? He's safer playing games than anything else he could do out in the world. But at the same time, they would be like, you know, I'd come home from school at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I'd watch cartoons for like an hour. And then until they forced me to get off, I'd probably be playing games.
Right.
Depending on what age it was, you know, it started with like, you know, I think the first game I played way too much was Super Mario Brothers 3. And then it was Super Mario World. I think until I got about 10, all I really played was Super Mario.
Right. Did you have any siblings to play that with, or was it just playing with the, I don't know what Super Mario has. I guess it's just the AI.
It was just itself, yeah. Well, Super Mario never had. Well, the original thing had the little.
It's the platformer, right?
The platformer, yeah.
Right, yeah.
One of the NES games, I want to say it was the first one, that had like the combo with Donkey Kong that you could play as Luigi and Mario and do the whole little place where you can use the PAL buttons to fight each other.
Oh, okay.
That was the only multiplayer thing. The only game I ever played with my sister, who's older than me, was Dr. Mario. That was her game. That was the only game she ever played, ever cared for. Even to this day, that's the only game she ever plays, only cares for. She has like the mobile version on like a phone or something.
So she's still playing.
Plays. But outside of that, video games aren't her thing. But like, I guess that was the one game we connected with. Okay. And that was the one game she could always beat me with.
All right.
Yeah, I can admit she was pretty good at it.
Right. Yeah. So did you two oh my goodness, here we go. Did you two do much other things together, or was it just kind of the game and then you were always doing games by yourself or something like that?
Outside of game, I mean, we're brother and sister, so of course we fought. You know,
all right, yeah.
Whenever like if we would fight and stuff, but if somebody were to fight one of us, we would tag team them type of thing. Yeah, so, like you know, I can fight my sister, but if somebody else fights her, you know, that's the end of the world, and vice versa. That type of relationship, even to this day, I would say we still have that, but we're still pretty close. But I think the closest we'd ever have was when I would try my hardest to beat her in Dr. Mario. And for some reason, the one game I never got good enough to beat her, and to this day, I still am not good enough to beat her at, is Dr. Mario.
It's kind of cool that games can be like a platform for people to have a good relationship with each other. Like, yeah,
I think no matter what, it's a really interesting way of people connecting.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Some people connect through sports. You know, everybody has this one or sometimes multiple things, but these things that some people or most people say you shouldn't do too much of it somehow connects a lot of people and kind of brings them closer together. Because outside of that, we probably would never like spend a lot of time together just kind of enjoying it outside of me just trying to beat her at Dr. Mario.
Yeah, that's really cool. So maybe jump a bit further forwards in games and stuff. I read on your Twitch page that you played games competitively at one stage?
Yeah, when I got about, what was I, 17, 18? Was when the good old Halo 3 came out on Xbox. And I got it for my birthday. I got the Xbox 360 Elite Edition that was like the high-end one that came with they came with Halo 3. I got it launch day. That was the first system that I had that had the ability to play Xbox Live. Even though Xbox One had Xbox Live, I didn't use it.
Right.
But over time, you know, technology got better, and of course, everybody by then had high-speed internet and stuff. So when Halo 3 came out, that's when I started playing like multiplayer, and all the time I realized I was not as good as I thought because I could beat everybody at school, everybody around my neighborhood. I could beat them handily. But once I got online, it was a totally different world. How people played, how much of the game I didn't know. I was using a totally different weapon that I thought. You know, I was just running around with an assault rifle. People were using all these other tactics that I never knew about, and I didn't like people beating me so easily at times, you know.
Okay, so it spurred you on to try and get better.
It made me want to keep on playing. Yeah, it made me want to get better at it. And one, for just me just wanting to be better at the game because I love Halo. Even to this day, I still love Halo very much. But I wanted to play more, and I wanted to play more. One day I came across some people who I was playing against. I started noticing, actually, some people I'd play against, they'd all have like Team of 4. They all had a same, like, say, logo. Like all of them had, like, say, Sniper Blaze, Sniper Dan, Snipers. All of them had like some like similarities in their name. And I started learning about these clans that they had. These were clans that played together. They would go around basically running a whole night, running through teams, or running through people that weren't teams, basically, if I want to say that. And using all these like team tactics, you know. And I started playing with some of the people because I would hear all of this lingo about like games, like go take out Tower 1 and stuff like that. And I'm like, what is Tower 1? And all this stuff. And I became really intrigued about multiplayer competitive gaming on a more worldwide scale. And Xbox Live for me was the first chance that I really had to doing that. So my first, I guess you want to say, venture into competitive gaming was Halo 3 when they came out with the thing. I can't remember what exactly it was called, but Halo 3 had this thing where it was lone wolves and it was a nationwide tournament.
Okay.
In order to get to like the main stage, you had to get a certain amount of points, get a certain amount of wins over the course of like 6 weeks.
Okay, so this wasn't at a venue. This was just online play?
This was online, but in order to get to the venue...
Oh, okay. All right.
You had to go through this. And then like every week they would post the top people, and like the top 150 people got there, you know. So I wanted to get there. I was like, I want to get there. I want to show myself I'm actually one of the best in the world, or at least in the nation. I was like, I want to get there. And so I was just out of college. That summer right after college, not after college, after high school, 2007. And of course, at that time, I had a summer job at like the theme park here, and outside of that, I had nothing else to do because I was just part time. I worked like 15 hours a week, so it was just me hanging out and playing games and doing a little work here and there.
Oh, wow.
So I spent a lot of time trying to go through the ranks, and even though I didn't make it, I got somewhat decent recognition from it.
So do you know what place you ended up at? Placing in the,
probably
in the
like top 300 maybe, I think.
That's not bad. There would have been a lot of people playing that, right? It was a big game.
Yeah, there was like a couple 100,000 at least.
Yeah.
I didn't get to the venue or nothing. I think the closest one that would have been to me was, I think, Memphis. I would have gone to the Memphis one for my region.
Okay.
Of course, if you were to get, it was funny because in August of that year, it was on ESPN, was like the championship, and it was in Times Square, and they got to play on the big screen, one of the big screens in Times Square. But I was like, man, that could have been me.
Oh,
that
so
me.
Even back then, I didn't know. I didn't realize that they had broadcasting of game tournaments.
Yeah, it was one of the first ones, to my knowledge, on at that scale. And I think it was because of no other game probably would have been able to do it at that time except for Halo. You know,
Okay, so Halo was
Call
just...
of Duty wasn't that big yet.
Oh, okay.
As it is now.
So Halo had
at that
the
time,
biggest...
Modern Warfare hadn't come out. Modern Warfare, I think, came out like a few months later than Halo.
Oh, okay. Right, and Modern Warfare was kind of the big...
Modern Warfare is what made Call of Duty big. You know,
Yeah,
most people love
that's
like
what I'm
Call
trying
of Duty
to
3 or
say.
something. But yeah, like Call of Duty didn't blow up as it is today until the success of Modern Warfare 1, which came out, I think, in 2007 or 2008,
Right.
if I'm not mistaken. But Halo was still much farther ahead in just the status and just the gaming community. Like,
Right, yeah. It's interesting learning about these things because I only really got into gaming myself probably 2010, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a bit later than that actually. It was sometime around when Minecraft was it still hadn't come out as a full game.
Yeah.
But it was getting close to that stage, and yeah, so I only really started on Minecraft, and then got an Xbox a couple of years after that. It was like really late into the Xbox life. Got Halo 4, got Black Ops 2. That was when Black Ops 2 had just recently come out.
Yeah.
I basically got addicted to Black Ops 2. I was coming home every night and playing it, and then I started actually skipping school, like not going to lessons to play it, and
Yeah.
it was not the best.
Yeah, I've been there. I think in 2008, I remember when I first started college. I know I failed one class just because of Halo. No, because I always tell the story. I had a 9 a.m. English class, and I would not get off of Halo until about 8 o'clock, thinking for some reason I could take a power nap and then run over to
You mean
class.
8 a.m. you were up till 8 a.m. playing?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd be up until 8 a.m., playing Lone Wolves or playing Team MLG, Team Slayer. I'd have people I'm playing with, of course. Started getting a little, not a clan, but like a group of 3 other people that we always spend every night, going through, spending like 6-7 hours playing.
Right.
And thinking for some reason by 9:30, I can make it in time and still get a little sleep. And 9 times out of 10, it didn't work.
Wow.
So that kind of
And you didn't think
was this.
you didn't think to maybe cut that night short and go to that?
Not at all. I at that age I was like, I could get better and try to get back to the big stage on Halo, or I could pass this class. And I was like, I can do both.
Right. Yeah.
I thought I could do both. And in the long run, Halo did not win. I didn't win at all. But at the time, I did.
Yeah, Halo was more important at the time.
Halo was more important in my life at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you end up passing overall? Like you failed that
no,
class?
not that. I had to retake that class in the summer.
Okay. All right. So just
Yeah,
had
I had
a
to
whole
go back
extra
and,
workload.
I think I got it. Well, for how much I played, I got a D. And I was like, for as much as I played this game called Halo and didn't go to class, I did somehow not get an F.
Wow.
So I was like, well, it wasn't the worst thing. I didn't get an F in that class from Halo. So Halo didn't make me fail. So
It
this
kind
didn't
of sounds like
pass.
it did, but
Just a little bit.
yeah. So kids stay in school.
But I mean, at the time, it was that way. Yeah, don't do what I did.
So bad idea. So it also
Yeah,
you've also got in your profile that you played Gears of War 2 MLG.
I did. Yes, when Halo, um, I want to say in late 2008. In 2008 I started playing less Halo. But I started getting into Gears of War.
Mm-hmm.
And Gears of War 2, I was playing Gears of War 1, and I was like, this is a pretty fun game. I just kind of picked it up at GameStop one day. Just wanted to check it out because I had heard a lot of things about it. Gears of War 2 was coming out in November of 2008, I remember. And I was working at Blockbuster at the time, so they'd have the commercials of Gears of War 2, loop maybe like twice an hour.
Ah, so you're brainwashed into it.
Yeah, so I was like, this seems pretty interesting, man. And they were doing the comparisons with like, if you like Halo, you'll love this third person version of Halo, type of feel to it, kind of steampunkish, grunge, violent, gory game, which is not at all what Halo is, which is almost the reverse opposite.
Okay.
So I was like, let me pick up Gears of War because since I worked at Blockbuster, I got a free game rental a week. So I was like, let me pick it up, let me play the game, play it through, kind of see what it's about, because for one, at Blockbuster they wanted you to like be able to play the games and watch the movies to kind of know what to recommend. So I picked it up, which is funny because that's the same way I got into Borderlands, because Borderlands the first one came out in 2009. And a lot of people were like, you should play the game. So I kind of picked it up, played it a little bit, and I was like, this game isn't half bad, But I only played it for like a few days in. But with Gears of War, the first one, I was like, this is a pretty decent game. It's not bad. I like how different it is. I like the competitive side of it. And once Gears of War 2 came out, I really liked the game. I liked how different it was to Halo.
So they improved the game quite a lot from the first to the second, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, Gears of War 1 had a massive improvement when Gears of War 2 came out. And from the way the controls were really tight, the multiplayer layout of each level was really balanced. So the power weapons were not overpowered at all, and there were many ways to play the game. And it had its issues. It didn't have like servers, so like if somebody was hosting that had a bad connection, you could tell immediately once you jumped in the game. You could tell whether you were a part of a good server or not. But the game itself was very enjoyable. And in my opinion, I want to say I got much better at Gears of War than I did at Halo.
Okay, did you spend more time on it, or was it just that you'd already had that previous experience playing an FPS?
I want to say I had the previous experience playing competitively.
Ah, right.
So
you knew the teamwork kind of thing.
Yeah, I knew kind of what to do, and I was older. I was like 20 at the time. So some of the friends I worked with at Blockbuster, we all created a clan. We were like, we play together all the time anyway. Let's create a clan, We called ourselves the Foot because of the Ninja Turtles. And we thought it was just a really funny and cool name. We called ourselves the Foot because whenever we go into multiplayer matches, we smashed or we stomped on the other team.
All right.
And so we thought it was just hilarious. And so we went around calling ourselves the Foot. And we all had a specific player that kind of did stuff. And, we had one player who was like our specialist on the sniper weapons. We had a specialist who was like on the shotguns. We had a specialist who was on like crowd control. And I ended up being the player who was like the kind of the best, like just overall person who kind of just did everything really well.
So you just run in and do all the stuff.
Yeah, just kind of run in and just kind of take over when needed.
Mm-hmm.
But then we had a specialist for everything else, and we just worked really well. And so we got into a thing called Game Battles, which was basically a more online version of MLG, which was it was like a part of MLG, but on there you didn't have to like drive around. to go to MLG tournaments, but you could still compete in MLG tournaments, you know, win money and stuff like that. But we did MLG's game battles, which is just technology once again, you know, being few and far ahead of time. So we did that for a while. We did the winter and spring seasons, and before like the team had a falling out, you know, we were on our way of doing really well in the seasons. You know, we started off, I think the first part of the winter season, we started off, I want to say 6-0. There was like a tournament there was like a match once a week or once every other week, depending on what other events were going on during the time. But we started off like 6-0.
So you were winning six games and losing none?
Yeah, we started off pretty well.
Right.
And I want to say it all went down when we had a game on like a Thursday night, and we had a big falling out over an issue. This was the first time I want to say I wish I was streaming at the time, or I wish I really knew about streaming, because we had a major issue with the other team that caused a kind of rift in us about a kill, which was like we were in a really, really tight game, and it was best out of 3, so it was both 1-1, and it was like, I think we were doing King of the Hill, and we had a huge issue with the other team. In our opinion, we still think that they cheated, and they did a thing which you probably know about, where like they tapped on their internet server to kind of time us out, but the game is still going, to where they can like kill all of us, and then like we all time out for like say 1 or 2 minutes while they just kind of eat up points and stuff like that. So that happened on our end, but none of us had any proof, because none of us were recording to basically stream or to show the MLG report about this. And of course, the other team wouldn't do that, you know. And at the same time, they wanted to call hacks on us, even though they won. And we couldn't justify this issue that we had. And so after that 6-1 loss, the next game we lost again. This time we lost, it was because of just the team in itself was just not playing like we should. You know, our sniper just felt like he was the best person in the team, started trying to just, you know, go Rambo on the other team, you know, messing up the whole flow of the games now. And so I still feel that loss kind of trickled into just destroying the group to the point to where we didn't even finish the season.
Oh no!
Because we got to nights to where we're waiting on the other 2 people to jump in the game so we can get started. They don't show up, causing us to have to forfeit. So after that, I stopped playing competitively for a few years. I want to say for a while. Kind of took a break from playing competitively, and I started wanting to venture out into other stuff.
Right.
I was like, this is just too much.
Did you still play the game, or did you just kind of...
I played more I played the casual multiplayer in Gears 2.
Right.
And then when Gears 3 came out, I still played Casualty, because I was still kind of sour about that whole event. And it still rubs me the wrong way to this day about it. But I started venturing out and started playing a lot of different other games that were more single player, multiplayer. And so I came across a bunch of games. That's when I started playing. Remember one of the first one I started playing at that time was Assassin's Creed. That's when Assassin's Creed 1 had just came out like a few months before that. And I was really intrigued about that game, because this is a pretty cool game, because in the commercial they had him like, you know, jumping across water, climbing up tall buildings, jumping off of them. And I was like, this seems pretty cool. You're an assassin. So I started playing Assassin's Creed. I went through that. And then I came across Another big one I came across was the Mass Effect series. Was like the big two that I played a lot in 2009. I played through both of those, and I spent a lot of time over the next year or two not really playing Halo or Gears and playing a lot of just single player story stuff. So I played, what I played? I played Mass Effect. I played BioShock, Assassin's Creed. You name it. That's probably single player. I probably end up playing it, and so I spent a lot of time, and I enjoyed the change that I had, and just not having to worry and getting frustrated at times about, waiting on players to come in so we can start a tournament.
Right, it was all just about having fun in the game.
Yeah, it was just enjoying the story, enjoying the gameplay itself, and I just really enjoyed the difference that I was having. I was enjoying video games again. I don't want to say I didn't enjoy video games when I was playing competitively, but
a different kind of enjoyment.
It was a different type of enjoyment. Yeah, it wasn't me just like stomping on another player and just beating him up and just saying I'm better than you. It was just me really enjoying a really, really well-made game. So that's kind of where it came from. Just me venturing out. I played sports games. And even then, I took a break from sports games because all I did was play the multiplayer side of it. And I was like, yeah, I just beat you so bad in this basketball game. There's only so much of that I felt like I could do, though. I needed something different.
Right. That's kind of cool. So you had a falling out, which must have been pretty crap at the time, but it actually helped you to find new games and new experiences. So it's like a silver lining in that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So when did you then get interested in streams and streaming? How did you first find out about streaming?
The first time I found about streaming, I want to say, was in late 2011. I can't remember the game that was being released. But the first time that they were being released, they decided to. It was some big game. I want to say it might have been Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, might have been Black Ops 1. But when it came out, they introduced, when this comes out, we're going to. If you want to watch some early gameplay, go check it out on Twitch, or go watch us live stream it. And I went and checked it out, and I was like, this is really, really, really cool, man. Kind of seeing this person from another side of the world playing this game, and me watching him, and not being recorded. It was different than YouTube. I knew about YouTube and people were kind of just recording and uploading to YouTube. I was like, this is live happening right now. And I just was so intrigued about it, but I was like, but I can never do that. I don't even have the equipment. I was still playing just straight console. And I was like, I don't even know what I would need to do this type of thing,
It kind of seems like when you first see it, it's like that they must have all of these different things, all of this equipment to do it, and it must be quite difficult to do, and that's why there's not many people doing it.
Yeah, and I cannot grasp my head around, how these people are playing this game, how they're putting it on the web for me to see at this point in time in the universe, and me basically experiencing what they're experiencing at the same time. Now, granted, there's like 10, 15 seconds lag, but still, real time things are happening, for me to watch. And I've watched so many games online. There were always recordings on YouTube, walkthroughs, stuff like that. I always saw that, but I could not grasp my head around this live streaming thing. And
it kind of sounds like when I first found out about just online playing. I knew it existed. I'd just never done it before. I think it was in Minecraft, and we had one of the hacked versions of Minecraft client. But we found out that you can actually still play online as a guest in the server or something like that. And so I jumped on there, and there were other people playing the game at the same time as me, and they had all of these buildings around, and they were like interacting with me, and it was a very amazing thing to go that I can play with someone that's not even here, and they're right there. But yeah, it's kind of surreal.
Yeah, it's very similar to that. I have to agree, because I remember when I first started playing online, I was like, how am I playing with this person that's like, it's morning for them and it's like midnight for me, you know? I just couldn't grasp that. So like the same thing with live streaming, I was like, I can't grasp this, but I was like, I put it off because I was like, I couldn't do that, you know? There's no way I could do that. I don't even have the proper equipment to even try that.
So when did you figure out what the proper equipment was then?
I remember the first time I even tried was in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say 2012. Yeah, I worked at Best Buy, and in the game section, I was just one day browsing through the game section, and then I came across this thing called Hoppage PVR2 HD. And I was like, this seems interesting. And then I picked it up, and it said, record your games live, upload to Twitch or YouTube or stuff like that for live streaming. And I was like, oh, this is one of those capture cards that I've heard about people doing, And so I was like, let me buy it. I'm just going to try it out. It was $100, but because I was an employee, it was like $50. So like, it's not a terrible thing. So let me pick it up. So I bought it and I took it home, and I was like, let's try to see what this is all about. And so I tried it out, and when I hooked it all up, first thing I came to find out was, of course, my laptop. I didn't have a desktop at the time. I had just a laptop. Mm-hmm. My desktop, my laptop was nowhere near strong enough to handle it. So I plugged it up, and I hooked all the stuff up, and I tested it out. And, of course, my computer, like, get that out of here. You can't even try this. And it was like, I got about 5 frames a second.
Right.
And on top of those 5 frames a second, I got like a massive fan noise. It got really, really hot.
Right.
I couldn't handle it. It started like freezing up and crashing. So I was like, you know what? Let's just stop it. I can't do it. This was kind of cool, but it was kind of a waste of $50. I just put it aside. So I remember I originally made my Twitch page, or this Twitch account that I use now, I first made in 2013.
Right.
And I used it because I tried again. I decided to use it to try one more time and stream, because I was like, I really want to stream. I kind of want to experience this. So I tried it again, and I had a better laptop at the time, thinking that was going to help it. And I got a better experience with it. I got about 15 frames a second, but I still got a lot of lag on it as well. Mm-hmm. So I remember I would test it on Halo. I tested it on Gears of War. At the time, I wasn't using OBS. I used XSplit. So that the card came with 6 months free of XSplit.
Ah, I see.
So I didn't like XSplit because it was just too difficult as well. I was looking at people's channels, and I was like, how do they do all this stuff? How do they do it? And so when I tried again in 2013, same thing. It couldn't really handle it. And I was like, you know what? It was worth a shot. And I kind of set it aside again. And so in early 2014, I was like, you know what? Let me just stream. I want to really get into streaming. Let me just do it. I know I won't get the best frames on here. Let me just go ahead and do it anyway. And at that time, I started playing. I think the first game that I was streaming was, Gears of War 3. Played some Gears of War 3 on stream. I was lucky if I had one person watching, and I don't blame them. Popping in, seeing 15 frames a second. Who's going to watch that?
Right. So you were still you were playing with low frames then, and trying to stream at the same time.
Yeah, well, I felt like it wouldn't be that difficult because I wasn't playing on my computer. It was just sitting there running the visual and uploading to Twitch. And even then, it couldn't handle it. That was just how underpowered my laptop was.
Right.
That laptop now sits in a corner now. But I was like, I mean, I was like, I really, really want to get into live streaming. I think I could be good at it. I think it'd be really, really enjoyable to share my experiences, you know, with other people. You know, I think that'd be really, really cool. And I was like, you know, I'm just going to try it. If I fail, it's not going to be anything new. I've already tried twice, and it hasn't turned out well. But I got a little higher technology. I can try one more time. And so it was decent. I think I got max when I closed every single thing out on my computer except for the necessary stuff, which is OBS and the capture card program. Because with the capture card program that I had, which is Hoppage, you had to have the program up. And in order to put it through OBS, it didn't have like any connections. You had to basically window capture it.
Oh.
And it was a pain to set up every day, or not every day. Whenever I tried to do it, so I did that, and I got no audience, which was understandable. But I enjoyed it. You know, I would do it for like 30 minutes at max, and I was like, you know, that was pretty cool. You know, I would go back and watch it, and the vibe would be pretty awful. But I was like, the fact that I just did it was really cool.
Yeah. So it was still enjoyable. I started
streaming it a lot. Yeah, it was still enjoyable. And at the time, I was like, you know what? I want to stream one of the games that I play a lot off stream. So I was like, let me try Borderlands 2. And this was late. This was in September of last year, of 2014. And I had upgraded the RAM in my computer. And that helped some. You know, it made it decent to where I got about 25 frames, and I still got a heater in the laptop, but I put like a little fan underneath it, an external fan, thinking that would help cool it down a little bit. So I had like the fan blowing out all the air, then I had another fan blowing into it, which was awful. That's negates both fans, but thinking that would help a little.
Oh, right. So you had the ear going back into where the air was coming out of the laptop.
Yeah, the hot air is coming out at the same time, really, really cold air is trying to go inside of it, you know, trying to keep it cool. But, you know, I started reading actually on the Reddit's Twitch subreddit about, you know, what things you want to have and, you know, this thing called OBS, you know. I think at the time I was using T-Notifier because it was free and it was simple. This was before they had included like the CLI browser on it. This is where they had, you know, you had the window capture stuff still. So I did that, and I enjoyed playing Borderlands 2. I was lucky to have one person viewing at the time, but I enjoyed playing. I was like, I'm gonna play regardless, you know, just do it.
So it wasn't that long ago that you started actually streaming. Were you streaming once or twice a week or more?
Once a week, maybe, you know. And if I did stream that time throughout September, it was maybe like 30 minutes, you know.
Right.
It was really, really small chunks because my computer can only handle it for so long before it just crashed on me.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, you know, it's not bad. You know, I just wanted to do it, and because I enjoy. I was like, I'm gonna play games regardless. Why not like kind of stream it if I can?
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought when I started streaming. It's like I come home most nights and play Borderlands, so why not also stream at the same time? Yeah. It's easy enough to set up if you've read up all of the stuff. So.
Yeah. And you know, I figured why not do it? And so even though I couldn't handle it, I was like, if I'm going to do this and I want to at least do it more often, I'm going to have to like get a desktop, you know. And I needed a computer anyway, and I was really going to get another laptop. But I was like, you know, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it right. I'm going to put a little of my personal money into it to get a decent computer. At this time, I had been spending like 2 years looking into getting a desktop because I needed a new computer, but I also wanted to game on it. But at the time, for the price I was looking to pay, I couldn't find anything reasonable because I was looking at the time all pre-built. And I was looking at some old Dells, I was looking at Alienware, I was looking at all this stuff, and I was like, I can't pay this much to have this i5, i7 processor. I want a decent graphics card in, and I was like, I can't see myself paying this much and getting this little back, or paying this much, $2,000 just to get like an i5 processor or something, you know?
Did you realize at that point that you could build your own PC, or did you just think it's way easier to just buy an all-in-one type deal?
I didn't know you could build a PC at this time. I've never really been massively big in the PCs. I was a console person, you know. Yeah. I liked consoles. And at the same time, just like with streaming, I was like, I can never build a PC. I couldn't do that, man. So why do you even try, you know? Mm-hmm. And I didn't know the first thing to do about building a PC. And I watched a lot of videos throughout September. I watched a ton of videos on like how to build a PC. Each time I watched it, I was like, I could do that. You know, I might be able to do that. But what if I break this? What if I break that? But if I don't do that, I might be able to build my own PC, man. Then I watched so many videos to the point to where, as I was watching the videos, I was in my head putting my own PC together.
Oh wow, okay.
I knew how to do it. I had watched so many videos about doing it.
A lot of research.
I knew the processes, yeah. So I was like, you know what? Let me just start looking into like what PC parts are required or recommended for, you know, streaming and being a computer. Because I said I need a computer because I need a computer because I need a computer.
Right.
But I wanted to do a lot of other stuff. Mm-hmm. So I spent a few weeks looking. I first started looking in September. I didn't buy my computer until like mid-November. So I spent a lot of time researching, and I'd be like, it'd take me like 3 weeks to decide on one part of the computer. And then I'd be like, okay, I know I'm gonna get this part. And then I'd take another week or two just researching every day at work, every day at school, every day at anywhere, like saying, okay, now I've decided I'm gonna go with this. And going down the line, deciding on what is best cost effective, because I didn't have a lot of money to spend on a computer, but I wanted something that could, one, handle just work, but also handle fun stuff.
Right, so you were still streaming at that time while you were doing all of the research and things?
Yeah, I was streaming, and you know, I had average like 1 or 2 people watching, which I felt proud about, having like 1 or 2 people watching, you know, for like 15-20 minutes before the stream crashed, and I felt really good about that. That's what also kind of pushed me to want to do it better. I felt like if some people are watching just to kind of enjoy me, you know, and watch a garbage stream for like 15-20 minutes, if I had a decent setup, you know, more people might want to watch, and more people might want to enjoy. It might be easier on my computer, it might be easier on me. Mm-hmm. So I figured, you know, why not, you know, I was like, stop putting it off. You've been putting it off for like 2.5 years. You know, keep, you know, saying you can't do it. Why not just try your hardest and just build a computer? If you fail, you fail. But just, you know, try it, man. So after I kind of figured everything out, I remember I bought all the stuff like the first week in November. One by one, the stuff started coming in, and I'm like, oh God, here we go. I got to build it because I've already bought it, you know. Mm-hmm. So I remember I built it, I want to say November 27th. I built it Thanksgiving Eve, whatever day that was. I remember I built it Thanksgiving Eve. Okay. After I got off work, which I think was a Wednesday.
So you just put everything together all at once?
It took me about 4 hours.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and I was pretty proud of myself because I didn't break anything. I didn't break any parts of it. Nothing short-circuited. I didn't have any dead parts out of box. But at this time, I had stopped streaming because my computer, my laptop was like, listen, I've tried streaming for you for a few weeks. I can't take any more. So in November, I didn't stream at all. I streamed maybe like 3 or 4 times in October, and I remember the only time I felt what kind of really pushed me over the edge was actually in October. I streamed Five Nights at Freddy 1. I played Five Nights at Freddy 1, and I remember I played it because a friend of mine, she said, I want to play Five Nights at Freddy, but I would like to see you play it because she knew I streamed, and she was like, you should play Five Nights at Freddy on stream.
Oh, that's cool.
Because it's a really cool game. And I was like, you know what? I watched some YouTube videos of it, and I was like, I want to see what all the hype is about. So I streamed it, and it was one of the few games that I could actually play and stream on my laptop at the same time. It was still not great. I got about 19 frames on Five Nights at Freddy. But since there was not a lot of motion in the game, it didn't take a lot of power to stream laptop while playing it. Mm-hmm. So I could barely handle it, even though my computer got hot. But it was one game I did that I got about, I think max. By the time I finished the game, I had 21 people I remember watching me, and I was just like, so like 21 people are watching me right now.
Yeah, and so that was basically you went from 1 or 2 people watching every time to 20 people watching all at once.
Yeah, and I was like, you know, I was happy with 20 people, and they were all like, you know, hey, you should, you know, they were of course backseat saying, you know, you should go do this. This is what you gotta do to get past night 4 or something. But I was just, after I finished it, I think I streamed for about 6 hours.
Wow.
I played throughout the whole game, and then I was like, okay, bye. Because I didn't know how to end streams or nothing like that. So I was like, okay, we're done, bye. After trying to do night 6, but I couldn't do it. But I did it, and I was like, this was really, really fun. I did it on a Saturday, and I was like, this was really, 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 really enjoyable. Just playing this game and interacting with all these people, you know. So I was like, that was the last kind of straw that said, okay, I'm going to do this. So I spent November looking, and once I got all the parts and I built it, and it only took like I think 4 hours. I started at about 8. By 11:30, 12, I was installing drivers.
Right. Did you stream as soon as it was all set up, or? No,
I didn't. I was still afraid to stream again because I hadn't streamed in like a month.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, this would be the first time I really would be able to stream, and so I think I streamed Five Nights at Freddy 2. That was the first game I streamed when I came back to Twitch. Mm-hmm. I streamed Five Nights at Freddy 2 the following, I want to say Saturday was the first time I streamed again. I didn't use a webcam. That night, but I streamed it, and it might. I want to say it was a game, but it was still once again really, really enjoyable. And I was like, this is the first time I've been able to stream and do other stuff at the same time on my computer, and my computer not like make a whistle at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start doing this again. And I remember my issue was I was wanting to stream Borderlands 2. I really wanted to stream that, but I couldn't do it on my laptop because it was a first-person shooter and there was a lot of high motion stuff. My computer was like, I can't do this at all, so don't even try it.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me try Borderlands 2, and then I started streaming Borderlands 2. I don't know what I started with. Actually, it's funny. When I first tried to stream Borderlands 2 in September, I was trying to get the sham. Oh. It's funny. The first thing I tried doing was I tried to get the sham to drop. Cause I was like, if I'm gonna stream, I want to do it for some type of. I didn't want to just play. Cause I had already played through the entire game.
Right, you needed a purpose.
I needed a purpose to stream. Yeah. And I realized like, when I watched a lot of other people streaming, they had a purpose for what they were doing. Either they were doing a first time playthrough of something, or they were doing a stream for a certain reason. So I was like, let me try to get the sham to drop. So I streamed that for a while. And the first couple of days, I didn't really get anybody watching. But I remember over time, you know, I started getting one person here, another person here, and it was a lot easier because when I was streaming originally, when I first came back streaming, I didn't know how to talk. I didn't know how to entertain. I didn't know how to really communicate. Yeah, I didn't know what to do still.
Right.
You know, because all I would do before that, I didn't know how to be an entertainer on Twitch. Yeah.
You were just kind of playing the game with other people.
I was just playing, yeah, and just people just watching me, and I was just kind of sitting there And if somebody said hi, I said hi. And I was still in that. I had a program up that if somebody joined, it would tell me who joined. And so I was under the thing. If somebody joined, I would call out the lurkers type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's a no type of thing. Now I get that. But if somebody joined, I would say, "Hey, how you doing?" Then I see them leave, and I was like, "Okay, bye." But over time, mainly in part thankful to the subreddit of Twitch, I learned how to really do a lot of stuff like that. How to stream, what do's, what don'ts, type of thing.
Did you watch a lot of other people who were streaming as well, and kind of?
I watched a few people. I remember the first person I ever watched on stream was Ferret Bomb, which you may know him, but he streams. I want to see. He streams a lot of different games, like Burnout Paradise is one he streams a lot. He streams Kerbal Space Program.
Right. So he's a bit of a variety streamer.
Yeah, he's a variety streamer. Those are a couple games, the first games I watched, and I watched him for a few weeks back in October and November. I learned a lot about how to stream from him. And of course, the first Borderlands stream I ever got that I really enjoyed was Rob, was Arleson85. Was the first one I ever really watched from Borderlands that I enjoyed.
Yeah, he's a cool streamer. Definitely fun to watch.
He's decent. Yeah,
he's decent. It's like he's not Dan, but he's decent.
Yeah, he's not decent. But yeah, I watched them. Was the first two people I really watched, and I learned a lot about streaming from them too.
Right.
I didn't want to ever be them. I didn't want to do that, but I wanted to pick up on what I liked about what they streamed, what I didn't like about what they streamed, and I kind of picked some stuff from them, and I watched how their layouts work. Cause at first my layout that I had back in October and September was gaudy. It was awful, man. I remember I had more overlays than I had game.
Oh wow! Okay.
I was one of those streamers at top. But I had my Facebook stuff up there, I had my Twitter stuff up there, I had my YouTube stuff up there. I had all these other little things saying, "Hey, follow me here. Do you like the stream? If you like the stream, do this." I had all this stuff up here. I had a webcam that was much bigger than it is now. I didn't even have like a webcam overlay, but I just had a big box over in the right corner. I had chat just in the middle of the stream. It was just awful. Looking back on it, I want to say it worked at the time, but I feel like it didn't work at the time. But I like going through that to know what I like and what I don't like about my own personal stream, and what I would want to see. And if I were to go on somebody's stream, I was like, what would I want to see in a stream? What I would like to see, the minimalistic stuff, only stuff necessary, or like a logo in the corner, and a webcam, maybe chat. Some people don't like having chat up on their streams, but I like chat being there. So if somebody were to miss a stream, they could see what the chat room's reaction to stuff is.
Yeah, I like the fact that you've got chat up. If only for the fact that when I type you a message, I can see when you actually receive the message.
Yeah, some people like that,
That's
and it also can kind of let you know how much lag you have.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people will have 2 to 15 seconds of lag, and some people might have like a minute of lag.
I always have like a minute of lag, and also the video always has to buffer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is actually, that's another good thing.
I like it though.
It's another good
Especially
thing
if
about
somebody's
chat.
watching, I guess, full screen, or if they're watching a VOD, or if they're watching a highlight. I like seeing VODs, and the worst thing I hate seeing is watching like a VOD, and somebody's saying something, the streamer saying something, I'm like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, he just says it out of the blue kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, but he's reading chat,
yeah.
But I don't know what he's talking about. So that's why I liked putting VODs up there, chat there. I remember when I first did chats, I used just window capture. Like my first couple months, I had window capture up there. And it was before I knew about CLR browser plugins and making this stuff. So I remember my second monitor had all these programs up there, and everything implemented was all window captured because I didn't know about plugins, but it worked at the time before I knew how to do it. So I started getting better at it, and I really enjoyed it. I remember I'd be at work, and I was like, I want to get back home and stream some more, man. I want to play this game
I
on
know
stream.
exactly what you mean, man.
And yeah, I want to say the last day I've taken off. I mean, I looked back on my social blade of my history of like streams, and since I got back streaming, which was like Thanksgiving weekend, I've not streamed for like say 2 days, and I was like, I haven't streamed for 2 days, and I was like, that means I think that means I kind of like streaming, you know, to the point to where I always take off like 2 days, if that, you know, and I just really like being able to share my experiences with people from all over the world, you know.
Yeah. It is pretty fun. It definitely makes playing a game that much more interesting. And
yeah,
especially
it brought new life into it for me. I probably wouldn't be playing Borderlands 2 if it wasn't for Twitch, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably wouldn't either. It's kind of like I got to the end of the game, but then there's the extra end game by playing it on Twitch, which is quite cool. And I know I love Borderlands 2, so I'm glad to have a reason to continue playing it.
Oh yeah, I have to agree. I remember before I started streaming Borderlands 2, I hadn't played Borderlands 2 in a few months. Because I had played it so much. I played with every character, got them all to OP8s, did all that, did the loot hunt that they had, and I was like, you know, there's not much else to do, man. You know, I had no reason to continue playing, and for me, Twitch brought new life into Borderlands 2 for me. Like on console and on PC when playing it, mine is like
reinvigorated.
Yeah. So I like that. It's made me go back and play a lot of games I played back on console that I probably wouldn't have played again. Like what was the last one I did? Like BioShock Infinite, I played back when it came out on console, and I didn't want to. There was a lot of games like that I wanted to go back and play through, but I had no reason to. You know, playing it on stream on Twitch gave me a reason and a want to play those games again. And I like that for it. You know, I think that is for some people why they stream. You know, wanting to share the experiences with other people. You know, some people, of course, probably want to do Twitch for fame and money and getting partnered and stuff, which is fine for them. I have no issues with them wanting to do that. But for me, my end game goal is just playing games and having people, you know, experience those games. And I've had many people say, "Hey, I never played this game before. This game looks pretty fun." You know.
Yeah, it's kind of like
go try it out now.
A lot of people. Like I know when I didn't have the money to buy games, I would be watching a lot of people on YouTube play different games just because I wanted to experience the game, but I couldn't do it myself. So I guess that's also what you're doing on Twitch. You're helping other people watch and experience the games that they may want to play, but they can't. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's definitely what I feel like I do. I remember I would watch YouTube Let's Plays of games because I couldn't afford to get them at all. But I wanted to kind of see the story. And I enjoyed not so much the person sometimes, but I enjoyed watching them play the game. Because I was like, if I can't afford to play the game myself, I at least want to still play the game or at least experience the game. So I feel like for me, like you said, I'm sure you feel the same way, you know, sharing this experience with the game I love playing with somebody out in the world probably has never played or is just getting into. You know, you can show them, hey, this is actually a really fun game, and this can probably help the gaming community. I feel Twitch helps the gaming community in many ways, and this is one of the ways. You know, getting more people into different games that they probably would not be into.
Talking of community, one cool thing about Twitch right now, or at least the Borderlands 2 scene on Twitch, is the hunt. It's like, it's really cool because it's bringing the whole community together, and everyone's kind of doing the same thing but separately but together, and it's very cool. Like, I know I wouldn't have that experience if I wasn't streaming. It wouldn't be as, I don't know what I'm quite trying to say, but I'm basically, like, it's a really nice, it's an inclusive community of people who are just enjoying the game and spreading that enjoyment around. I really like that.
Yeah, I do feel the same way in regards to that. It's really interesting to meet the people you end up meeting, you know, just because you have, like we said earlier, just how it brings people together in a way that you probably would not have anything in common originally, but a video game brings you together.
Yeah, that's a good callback to right at the start of the podcast.
Yeah.
So talking of the hunt, I think I saw you have like 270 points now, something like that.
Yeah, I think I'm at 279, maybe.
All right.
I think is what I ended with last night.
Yeah, so are you enjoying the hunt? Is it fun?
I am really enjoying the hunt. It's really, really fun to do live streaming of a scavenger hunt. Is really what it is.
And it definitely it's that whole giving the stream a purpose, or giving you a purpose in the game. It makes doing the stream quite a lot more enjoyable as well.
Yeah, it's making me get. I know a lot of people probably get tired of just seeing the bunker every night for 4 to 5, 6 hours. So it's giving for me more variety in my stream too, you know, to go all the other places in Borderlands, because originally I had no reason to go to all the other places, you know.
Well, you need to
I
give that
did everything
sham.
and now I have a place. I need the sham. But, you know, doing the hunt, at least for me, is also refreshing because it's giving me a break from the bunker to go re-experience the rest of Pandora, you know, and go all over the places. And, you know, because to be honest, the bunker can get tiresome doing it every night for 4 to 5, 6, 7, 8. Sometimes I've done it 9 hours of just me in the bunker, just kill after kill after kill, not seeing anything that I want drop.
Yeah,
you know,
that's crazy. I find it crazy that you spent so much time waiting for that sham to drop. It's something I couldn't do. Just doing the same thing all the time.
Yeah. I looking back on it, because I've been doing this for about 6 or 7 months. Just me trying to kill the bunker, just trying to get that thing to drop. It's just it can't. It at times it's gotten tiresome. It's like, you know, will it ever drop? You know, I've questioned, will it ever drop, man?
I think a lot of people enjoy watching you kill the bunker. Well, they obviously do, because a lot of people are in your streams when that happens. What do you think you'll do if the sham ever drops?
A lot of people ask me that. They always ask, you know, what is your plans after the sham drops? And to be honest, I have no idea. A lot of people say, why don't you go do the Cobra? And I'm like, if I do the Cobra, it's just going to be the next 6 or 7 months of me. When Christmas kind of comes, I can say I've been doing the Cobra for 6 or 7, 8 months, and it hasn't dropped yet, you know. I know I am going to take a break from Borderlands when the Hunt 4 is over.
Right, that sounds fair enough.
Because when I started streaming, I consider myself more of a variety streamer, not a Borderlands 2 streamer. And so I feel like to get back to why I started streaming is to take a break from Borderlands and branch back out into other games that I originally wanted to do. Not taking away anything from Borderlands.
I think you do have the kind of following, I guess, now, to be able to do that, and a lot of people will follow you around. That's one of the I guess that's one of the good things about being someone who's got quite a lot of followers. You know that there are people that are mostly there for you rather than the game, and so they'll probably follow you around. So that will probably work out quite well for you, going and playing different games.
Yeah, I would hope so. I know at one point in time, back I want to say in like December, when I first was like, at the time I wanted to just take a break from the bunker. I was like, I want to do other stuff. But at the same time, I was like, I don't know if anybody would want to like watch if I'm not doing the bunker, you know? Because every streamer I'd come in, and if I'm not at the bunker, they was like, "Hey, did he get the sham?" And everybody's like, "No, he didn't get the sham." Then they'd be like, "Well, why isn't he at the bunker?" And I'm like, "Because I needed a break from the bunker and just do other stuff." And God forbid if I'm not playing Borderlands at all, they're like, "Oh my God, he must have got the bunker to drop the sham if he's not even playing the game," you know.
Yeah.
But even in, like, I put in my panel back when I first started streaming that I was a variety streamer.
Yeah, I did see that.
I want to stick to that, you know, even though my main series is Borderlands, and it's always probably going to be Borderlands as long as, you know, Borderlands continues making games. It'll probably always be Borderlands as my main game. But I enjoy playing a lot of other different games. I want to play a lot of other different games. I have like 10 games I want to play on stream,
right,
you know, that I just haven't done yet because I really want the sham to drop, and you know that's a personal goal.
And at the end of the day,
I plan for it to not take this long though.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it is the purpose of you streaming is for your enjoyment mostly, and especially since you're not partnered, it's not your job or anything like that. So going around doing more games that you enjoy. That's kind of the whole point of it. So I fully support that. So. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
So we're talking about followers before. You've got quite a lot of people that come in every stream and watch you. I mostly see around 50 or more. Actually, no, I think, I don't know, maybe 100 is your average. I'm not sure. It's some crazy amount. And when I first started watching you, I thought that this guy must have been streaming for at least a year if he's got this many people watching him. But then to find out that you'd actually only started streaming late last year, it's quite amazing. Do you know how you managed to do so well in such a short amount of time and continue to do so well? Do you have any idea how that happened?
To be honest, it's still to this day, like, I am really, I want to say fortunate. To be honest, I don't know, to be honest. Some people ask me, how do I get people to follow me, or how do I get people to watch me? And I have no answer to this day. You know, I'm very grateful for everybody who's chosen to follow me. It might be the jazz music. I don't know. It might be the jazz music that I'm always playing. Yeah. But I wanted to make sure, at least when I started streaming, to set myself apart in one way or the other that I could. A lot of people want to always do song requests. I chose not to really do song requests except for the random Blue Moon. I didn't want to play any like mainstream music either. I didn't want to play just straight video game music either. You know, originally I started streaming, I was playing a lot of kind of 8-bit fusion video game music, and it was different. I enjoyed it, but I wanted to kind of, in a way, mellow out my music.
Yeah, you've got a bit of a, I guess, a chill out stream, kind of.
Yeah, I wanted to find some music that I could just listen to for hours, basically. Because the music I was listening to, whether it was song request music or the 8-bit fusion video game music, after an hour or two, I would get internally bored with the music, or I'm like, I can't keep listening to this music because if I'm going to continue streaming for like 4 to 5 hours. So I started playing just jazz music.
Are you a big
regular straight jazz music?
Are you a big music guy? Like, do you listen to a lot of music in your spare time, or play any music yourself?
I don't play music like I used to. In my spare time, I do listen to music when I have a chance to. Even then, maybe once in a blue moon, I play like mainstream music because when I listen to music, I like it relaxes me.
Mm-hmm.
It centers me. It makes me, when I need to do something work wise or something, I listen to some mellow music, and it calms me. So I wanted to implement that into my streams. And of course, some people are always like, "Why don't you turn on SimonQuest?" And I'm like, "Well, I need to make sure I'm listening to something that I can listen to for hours because I'm going to be streaming for hours." So it wasn't an issue when I'm only playing it for like 30 minutes to an hour, which I can do that. But anything longer than that, I just need to have something that I can listen to that I can just listen to for hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I started playing different fusion video game jazz type music that I started coming across. And I could listen to some video game music that people would recognize, but it's also in a jazz format that can kind of keep me calm when I'm doing like an 8-hour stream.
Yeah, I noticed. I'm pretty sure I've heard some Cowboy Bebop music on your stream.
Yeah, and it's funny because the first one I ever came across was the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack and the Samurai Champloo soundtrack, which was the first stuff I started playing that I could listen to for hours.
Right. So did you watch the anime before that, or was it just finding the music and liking that got you listening to it?
No, I've been a big fan of Cowboy Bebop for many, many years. Like I always, like whenever somebody asks me, do you like this or do you like that? I always like to let people know that my favorite anime to this day is still Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
And then second is Samurai Champloo.
Right. I haven't watched the Samurai thing that I don't know the name of, but I've definitely watched. I've definitely watched Cowboy Bebop, and it's such an amazing experience. I love.
That's the word, experience. That is exactly what
it's
I
not
can't
just
think of when somebody asks about it.
It's not just watching it; it's experiencing it, and the music was one of the main highlights for me. It was every single episode had amazing music in it. I tried listening to the soundtrack just recently by itself, and like I loved all of the songs. And then I think it's called Blue, or there's a couple of songs that are just like they just hit me right in the feels, and I was like, no, I can't do this. I can't listen to Cowboy Bebop music.
I totally understand though.
Yeah, but
I
such
love
a good series. That's the word.
Yeah, so originally I just started playing that music, and it started with that, and then people started commenting. They were like, "I really like how different your stream is, but based off just the music. I can come here and kind of just relax and just enjoy some video game play. Because even for me, like some streams I don't like because there's audioly there's so much going on, and I like, there's no way I can watch this stream for like hours on end with all this crazy not hardcore, like all of this massive music going
Intense
on,
music.
Intense, basically, yeah, for hours on, I can listen to it on stream for like 30 minutes to an hour, but I also need to implement that calm music, kind of offset all of that.
Yeah, just to bring you back to a nice calm state, I guess.
Yeah.
That I'm gonna steal that useful thing, because I notice myself if I'm streaming for a few hours, I'm usually listening to electronic music, and I'll get quite wired from doing it and just playing a game for that long. So I might bring in some jazz or some classical music or something interesting. As well.
Yeah, I definitely think it helps. I know some streamers actually enjoy listening to like intense music for hours on end, which is I'm like, whatever works for you is what you should do, because I feel song quests are really really cool to have, but sometimes it can kind of bring down the stream.
Yeah,
Especially with all the stuff you gotta do.
it's an occasional thing.
Yeah, I feel it at best occasional.
Yeah.
How it should work.
So, I was saying before, you're not a full-time streamer. You're not partnered or anything. So, do you do anything else in your spare time? Because you don't need to stream all the time. I figured there might be something else that you're passionate about that you do other than that. Or I'm not saying that you have to have anything. But is there anything else that you love to do in your spare time?
When I'm in my spare time, mostly I'm at work, but probably more passionate stuff is I'm very passionate about film. I really enjoy film. At one point in time, I wanted to be a filmmaker as well.
So you don't want to be a filmmaker now, or is it just that
I'd rather do it as a hobby, basically?
Right.
Originally, I was wanting to go get a profession. But I did not want to make it ruined as a hobby.
Right.
And I didn't want to have to listen to producers telling me I can't make my story like this because it won't sell money or something like that. But I enjoyed the process of making a film.
So do you?
And I wanted to keep it as is.
So you make your own short films or something?
I've made a few. I haven't made as many as I would like. Just because financially it costs a lot of money.
Okay.
But I've done a few in my past, and luckily they're not on YouTube yet.
Are you not proud of them, or is it just that they're more your thing than?
They're kind of more just my thing type of thing.
Right.
But there are a few that I've done that are like more student projects that are out there somewhere in the world. I don't know what's happened to them. Because they're the schools, so they might put them on their website. They might have put them wherever, who knows. But I like the process of it. I enjoy making films. I enjoy the backside of all that goes into working a film as well. And I'm big on like the history of film is I'm really passionate about that.
Right.
If I had to pick anything, it'd probably be film. I'm big on basketball. That's just because I played basketball all my life.
Okay. So do you have a club that you play with or anything like that at the moment?
At the moment, no. I need to find one.
Right.
That I miss playing. But I played all through high school, first year of college, before Halo took that down. But yeah, I still play. But that's normally when I'm at the gym. That's really it.
Right. So you were talking about working at the times that you're usually not streaming. Where do you work? What is your work? If you don't mind sharing.
I work as a media finance. What's the word?
I don't know.
Trying to think of.
Right.
I work in media finances at this car company.
Okay.
So I work kind of on the back end and on the media side of it, kind of not PR, but not their PR side, but like their internet side.
Okay.
Their whole dealership, kind of, helping that out, making that more profitable for them.
So advertising, kind of?
Kind of advertising, yeah.
What does that entail? What do you do while you're at work?
Half of the time I'm on the phone with customers trying to figure out why they didn't buy from us.
Okay.
Or, half of it is kind of research, trying to figure that out. The other half of it is kind of looking at how garbage some of their marketing is and fixing it.
All right.
So yeah, I do that, and that's my Monday through Friday thing.
Do you enjoy
which
it?
I'm happy about.
I
enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy being at a job that's Monday through Friday mostly.
Right. Yeah.
Because I've always worked jobs all my life that I've had to work weekends and sometimes even holidays. So.
Right, so a normal Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 jobs. Nice.
Yeah. Normally I'm not out by 5. I'm normally out like 6:30. But
Right.
still, I when summer comes, I'll be out before the sun is down, which is pretty cool.
Cool. And then you can go play basketball.
Yeah, most
Or
of the time
stream.
lately it's been going home and streaming.
Yeah.
But before streaming, it was going to play basketball. But
Right, yeah.
I gotta figure a way to do both.
Talking of future stuff, do you have any major plans going forward? Mostly like to do with Twitch and streaming and things like that?
I'm playing around with a few things because I'm trying to figure out what's next after the hunt.
Right.
Because I won't be doing Borderlands as much.
So you're figuring out which games you're going to play or something?
I'm figuring out what games I'm going to play, but some of those are already set in stone because there's some games I'm going to do that are just story games that I'm going to play through.
Are you going to play GTA when it comes out on PC?
Yeah, I'm pretty positive I'm going to play GTA.
Yeah.
I don't see why not. Might not play through the story again because I did that,
Right.
unless I for some reason just want to play through the story again. But I am going to maybe it might be like more of a community type of thing for me, where I could probably make a community, not server, but like a
Right.
community crew,
Yeah, and jump on
which I think
with
would be
them.
kind of cool. Yeah, so I feel like a lot of people might want to play GTA with me or with other people on the community, and at least give people always somebody to play with. And if Rockstar finally puts out the online heist that they've been asking,
Oh,
or that they've
yeah.
been talking about, because that was one of the main reasons I picked up GTA 5, which I was going to pick up GTA 5 regardless.
Mhm.
But that's what made me most excited for GTA Online, was the online heist that you were supposed to be able to do, where you could set up a plan, go rob a bank, stuff like that, which you could create their own stuff yourself in the world, but they still to this day haven't put out. So if the PC game comes out and finally puts that out, that'll make me most excited to play
Yeah,
GTA Online.
that will be cool. I can't wait till it comes out. I played it on Xbox as well. But yeah, I think I'll play through the storyline again. Maybe do some different things than what I did the first time.
Yeah.
And probably not mess around as much. Probably just do all of the storyline bits. But yeah, that's going to be a fun new game coming out.
Yeah, I feel like it'll probably be the first big game I'll probably jump on when it comes to PC. I'm happy that at least I won't have to start over with my character, because they say that the character
Oh yeah,
from if you have it
crossover.
on console crossover, because I got him to level 40 or something. I
Oh,
don't
wow,
want
okay.
to start over the 1. I think that'd be pretty cool if it turns out well. I was kind of bummed originally that they pushed it back, but I was like, I shouldn't be surprised, because Rockstar always pushes their games back.
Yeah. Oh, and what I was saying when that was announced was, you got to think that hopefully that means they're going to make it the best that it's going to be, and it's not going to be like a Ubisoft game launch where
Yeah,
everything's
that's what I'm
broken
having to
and
look at it like. They're fixing all the broken PC stuff. So that's what I'm trying to be positive about.
yeah. Also gives us more time for the hunt.
Yeah. I think it doesn't come out until late, but I don't know, because by the time GTA 5 comes out, the Claptrap DLC is supposed to come out.
All
So
right.
I might do Claptrap DLC.
Well, I guess you could
Do all
flip-flop
that first.
between them.
Yeah, I'd probably flip flop, and then in the hunt, April, then focus on some other stuff gaming wise. I mean, I have that. I have a couple of events I'm trying to mess around, see if I can do. I might do another 12-hour stream. Some people want to do a 24-hour stream, but I'm like, I don't have enough time in my life to do a 24-hour stream and still get rest. But I'm sure I could probably do another 12-hour stream soon. I did one back in December, early December, and I thought that was pretty enjoyable.
Right. I think I might do one day, maybe in the next week, because I have a bit of downtime between transitioning from work to university.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I sitting at the computer for 12 to 24 hours just gaming and streaming sounds quite daunting, I guess would be the word.
Yeah. It is very tiresome. I can admit that I've done much longer sit down video game playing at one time. The difference is I couldn't just sit there for like an hour or two just playing the game. You gotta entertain. You gotta be doing something on top of that. You gotta at least interact, and that can be draining. For hours on end. I remember when I was streaming, when I did my 12-hour stream at about the 11th hour, the entire chat knew I was almost gone. I was exhausted. By that time we were playing Alien Isolation. Oh. And I just couldn't figure out what to do, and I was like, "Can I just stop now?" And I'm like, "I only got 45 minutes left. Let me just stop now." I was ready to pass out. And I think I slept like 9 or 10 hours the following day.
Well, yeah, it's a big undertaking to do a long stream. I see the people who is it? Names Are Useless, I think. It's a streamer who I've watched.
Like 35-hour streams, yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand how he can do it. It must be just caffeine or something.
Yeah, I don't know how I could never do a stream for that long.
Yeah. It's somehow quite impressive.
Definitely. I wish I could stream for that long. But for me nowadays, once I get to like 7 or 8 hours, 9 hours, I'm ready to pass out.
Yeah, I did one 6-hour stream recently, and that was even that was quite long for me, difficult to do. Yeah. All right, so I don't have anything else that I have organized to talk to you about. Is there anything that you particularly wanted to say during this podcast, or?
Thank you for having me, man. I do appreciate even considering me as an option to start off your podcast.
You're entirely welcome. I'm very happy that I was able to have you for my first podcast. It's quite cool, and it has been a lot better than I was. I wasn't expecting it to be bad, but I was like afraid that I would be a terrible host and wouldn't know when to ask questions and things like that. But it was enjoyable, and it was not as difficult as I thought it might be. So that's mostly down to my guests. You did really well. Yeah. Thank you. I guess now we could do a Q&A thing if anyone who is watching on Twitch wants to ask any questions. Of course, this is the time when we have the least people watching. There were a few more people watching before, but they seem to have mostly left. So I think it's just Cat and Genocide who are in now. If either of you two want to ask any questions, feel free to do that now. I don't know what the delay is going to be like.
That lag.
Yeah. Also, they probably have to think of questions as well.
Yeah.
I guess while they're either thinking of questions or not going to be asking questions, I may as well ask you the final thing that I wanted to touch on here is just if you have any advice for anyone new to streaming, because you seem to have done quite well kind of straight off the bat. Is there any kind of one or two things that you think are very important for new people streaming?
The only thing I can always think of is, besides just do it, don't worry too much about who's watching you. try to. The hardest thing to do when I was beginning to stream is to talk to myself. As weird as it is at times, just talking to yourself is one of the best things you could do.
It's like,
it makes it easier.
It's quite funny though, because yeah. Oh, sorry for interrupting you there, but yeah, it's like usually talking to yourself means you're insane, but if you're a Twitch streamer, it's actually one of the best things to do.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the one time that you can't be clinically insane is when you're doing it, when you're streaming.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like...
That probably it.
Right, yeah, cool. It looks like questions aren't going to be asked. So that's cool. I'll just finish this off with saying, well, I'll ask you, where do people find you if they're listening to the... I'm going to put this up on my YouTube channel and maybe SoundCloud, depending on what I do with the recording that I've got of this. Okay. But for anyone else, how do they find you?
You can find me. I'm always on my Twitter, which is EpicDan22. Pretty straightforward. You can find me on Twitch at EpicDan22. I have a YouTube channel, which is EpicDan22, but on there's a space. It's like, I think I have to set up Epic space Dan22 just because Google Plus sucks. Mm-hmm. So you have that. I have a Facebook that is EpicDan22. I stream normally nightly. Normally I stream Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. That's my original stream schedule. After the Hunt 4, I'll probably get back to just doing that. But as of right now, I, for the most part, stream nightly for at least 3 to 4 hours, sometimes 6 or 7. I think I did 9 hours last night for some awful reason. But yeah, that is all of my links and connections that I have. Twitter is probably the best way you can always get in touch with me. Since it goes right to my phone, I am always able to connect through there.
Right,
yeah,
and
look me up.
Yep, cool. So everybody follow him on all of the things. If you want to find my stuff, I am Mr. Gruntle on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Most of them it's / Mr. Gruntle, all one word. Or you can just search it in the search things. They usually come up with it pretty good. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it from us. I just want to say a big thanks to anyone who watched this or is going to be listening to it on my YouTube channel or on SoundCloud if I put it on there. This was definitely a great experience, and the biggest thanks to you, Dan. It was quite a lot of fun.
No problem, man. I enjoyed it a lot. It's the first time being interviewed. I enjoyed it, though.
Yeah. Well, hopefully other people will want to do this. I do have a bit of interest in other streamers coming on here and talking about themselves and all of that kind of thing. So this should turn into a weekly thing, hopefully. So next Sunday for me and Saturday for most Americans and most of the world, I think. This should be happening again on my Twitch, and then I'll put there'll be a VOD of it and the YouTube video and everything. So yeah, come hang out next time, do the Q&A afterwards if you want to. Yeah, that's pretty much all that I can think of to say. Apart from thank you very much and have a good day or night or whatever it is for you right now. And thanks for watching.
Have a good night.